Hey, welcome to a live edition of Local Focus with your host, Sebastian Noel. Usually, our dopey little program comes on at 10 o'clock and it's taped, but not today. We have a special live edition because we have one of our very best football players in the state going to make his commitment where he's going to be playing at the next level. Los Lunas' Bryce Santana will be my guest in just one moment. I do want to remind everyone, huge week of basketball on Proview Networks this week, and it starts tomorrow. La Cueva, El Dorado, we'll have that for you. Stephen Adam will be out there. And then I'll have a potential 4A championship preview. I'll have Valley against Highland, and I'll have a very special guest on color commentary with me, and that's former Lobo basketball player Chad Adams, who played at Highland High School. So he's familiar with that rivalry. He'll be joining me in the broadcast booth. But enough about that, and let's welcome in Los Lunas' Bryce Santana. Welcome,
Hi.
man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and nice to have you in. And obviously, we called a lot of your games on Proview Networks, so we know what you're all about. And so you have a big announcement to make right at the top here, so let's do it.
Well, I'm going to be committing to UNM.
All right, the Lobos, the hometown Lobos. How about that? So many questions to get into when it comes to that. First of all, when did you make that decision?
I made it, I think I made it last Friday. I messaged head coach, Coach Gonzalez, and told him about it, and he told me he was excited to get started.
Right. And, talk about how this all came about. Because there is a groundswell right now of excitement about Lobo football that I haven't seen in this town in a long time. And I'm not going to lie, I'm one of those guys that was guilty. I'll go to the tailgate and I'll go home before the game starts. That was me. And there's a lot of people in the town like that. But right now, there's an excitement. If you're watching live today, you know that Rocky Long got added to the staff as the defensive coordinator. Just talk about the excitement that's building now around Lobo football.
Well, it's exciting because Coach Gonzalez, he's a good guy. He knows what he's talking about. He's gone to programs and excelled at those different programs like Arizona State, San Diego, yeah. And he's a good football mind. And then him bringing along Rocky Long, who's been successful here before and been successful everywhere he's went, really.
And I got to ask, and obviously we could, my intent of this is not to pile on a previous administration because we spent a lot of time doing that. But, it has to be different, right? When there was a coaching change, everything had to change. If you're a good to great football player in the state of New Mexico, once Coach Gonzalez took over, that had to have been a game changer. Talk about that in your mind.
It was nice because he is a New Mexico guy. He's from Valley, so he understands that a lot of people just look over New Mexico just because they don't think their talent's that great, even though that's not completely true. I think there's enough talent here to play anywhere.
And tell us about the difference, obviously. Pre-Gonzalez, what was the interest level from UNM? What were you feeling in your heart and in your mind? And then how was it different after Gonzalez?
I was getting some interest from Coach Dutelli and Coach Egan, but both of them have moved on right now. But I think if Coach Davies was still here, it'd probably been a preferred walk-on.
And that's different, right? Preferred walk-on. At that point, you got to start thinking, okay, maybe do I go the totally different route, right? What? Let's say this UNM thing didn't happen. What else was on your plate? What else were you mulling over in your mind?
I had offers from Eastern, Western, Colorado Mesa, CSU Pueblo, and a few NAIA schools. So I was just trying to see which one's going to give me the best offer, which one has the nicest facilities, nicest campus, what kind of competition they play. Just see, because my ultimate goal is to get to the NFL. So I just see where I get my best.
So since you want to get to the NFL, can you autograph anything in here on your way out? Just sign the desk. Just sign some stuff, right?
All right, yeah.
All right. We got to make sure we get some stuff signed. Anyway, now again, back to this Gonzalez thing. This had to change your whole mindset tremendously, right?
Yeah.
Because when he came on and he said the whole, we're going to try to recruit 4 to 5 local kids every year, did a light bulb go off and you say, okay, well, that's my ticket?
Yeah, I was excited because I feel like I'm one of the top players in the state. So it gave me an opportunity to be able to play somewhere close to home.
And, speak for, I know you guys are all pretty tight. All the football players in the state are usually close. They talk, whether it be on social media, text, whatever. Obviously you're not the only one feeling this excitement, right? So talk about the community as a whole. Just, I know other guys too that are, close to committing or, are good players that are now, reinvigorated by this. Talk about that.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting because it seems like the whole community is just excited for you, and like whenever I announced it on Twitter the other day, just a whole bunch of people I've never met before just saying congratulations, telling me like good job, and then just hoping for me to do well. So it's nice to have like a community like behind your back.
What now? What do you think is going to be the hardest adjustment?
The hardest adjustment is probably going to be having to like the school itself because I'm planning on going into engineering, so I'm gonna have to do lots of like hard math and stuff like that. So it's just
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
tough
not
for that.
universal studies, is it?
Yeah.
Engineering, yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
And I mean, support system wise, talk about your family. Some of them are here today, obviously behind the camera. But talk about that support system and how they helped you make this decision.
Well, my family's always been there for me. My grandma's a teacher, so she's always been able to help me with that. And then my family, they just if and I need help with anything, they're willing to do anything for me. So it's always nice to have them there.
You feel a sense of almost responsibility when you have all this help. You want to take it to the next level. So all those hours of them shuttling around place to place, right? I know kids that I've talked to say they feel almost a sense of responsibility to take it to the next level for their parents. Talk about that.
Well, like my dad, he's coached me since I was little for every single sport I've done. So like he's always kind of like whenever I needed like questions for anything, he's always like helped me. So I've always wanted to like make it to the next level, and they've always supported me for that. So it's always like they've always wanted me to do it for myself, but then again, it's nice to be able to do it for my family too.
So you said he coached you since you were little. So let's talk about that. When the hell were you ever little? All right. How long ago was that?
Straight out the womb.
Oh yeah, okay. Because I mean, this growth spurt obviously had to happen at some point. I mean, because you're a beast. So I mean, when did you notice that? Hey, you're pretty dominant here. At what level did that start to happen?
Well, I've always been a little bit bigger than my competition I've gone against. So ever since I was in Little Mighty Mites, I was playing every single position on the field.
Now, your mom tells us a story about you eating a whole bunch of cake when you were little. Could that have something to do with it?
Probably.
So tell us about that.
Well, I guess I've kind of always eaten quite a bit, so it always did start when I was little. My dad was in the Navy, so me and my mom made him a cake whenever he was coming back, and I guess everyone fell asleep.
Not you.
And
Not you.
I went towards the cake.
All right, well, we're going to take our first time out here. When we get back, I do want to talk about your Los Lunas years a little bit, including a fantastic senior year. We'll be right back with Bryce Santana.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
We're back with Bryce Santana of the Los Lunas Tigers. He's donning the cherry now. If you're just joining us, committed officially to UNM, one thing I didn't talk about before, the relief. That seems to be the common theme with anyone I have in that chair once they commit to a college is how relieved they are that it's over. Talk about that.
Well, the recruitment process it's a stressful feeling because you can't really control it much. You just gotta hope coaches look at you. You gotta hope coaches like you. So it's nice to be able to commit to a college and see like pretty much sign your life away for the next 4 years.
Right. What we've gotten a lot from some previous guests is it starts out really cool at the beginning and then it just gets kind of monotonous, overwhelming, and you just want to get. Is that kind of what you experienced?
Yeah, well, I kind of got started a little bit late. I didn't know much about it till about halfway through my junior year. So we had to kind of rush everything right away. So it was stressful from the beginning.
Now, let me ask you this: was there a time where you're obviously you have a very good teammate just on the other side of the defensive line, right?
Yeah.
That's getting a ton of looks. Was there a time where you're thinking, man, I can play at this level. What's going on here? Did any of that ever creep into your mind, or did it just kind of slowly fall into place?
Well, like obviously he's a great player. I've always it's like nice to be able to play with someone like that, and I've always thought like, well, he's getting all these looks. Well, I'm gonna use that as a way for me to get these same looks
Right.
that he's getting. So, I
Well,
think
what are you guys doing in practice to bring the best out of each other? Because you guys are amazing, and to have that on the same team, I mean, that you guys got to probably have some pretty intense practices. Talk about that.
Well, it helps because I feel like we had the best trenches both sides of the ball last year. So we got to go against the best offensive line in the state every day at practice. So it kind of made the games easy for both of us.
So let's backtrack a little bit to last year. First of all, heading into the season, expectations had to have been pretty high. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, honestly, I feel like a lot of people were sleeping on us to begin with because we had lost a lot of seniors. Our quarterback, he got hurt. We lost our team captain, Diego Sanchez. I feel like a lot of people didn't think we were going to do as good as we did. But
Now, people that know, like us, we said Los Lunas would be there at the end.
yeah,
Okay. So you got to give us a little bit of credit, all
Yeah.
right? So, but I mean, you did replace obviously a studded quarterback that was injured, and you had some changes there throughout from the last year going into this. And I mean, talk about those changes. I mean, how tough is that? Was that just I mean, is it tough to replace that many seniors? What did that look like?
well, we kind of got a little taste of what it'd be like without Nick because he got hurt
Right.
halfway through the season. But as for the other seniors, we had just so many guys that were ready to step up and work as hard as they needed to in order to be able to succeed. So it was nice because everyone was on the same page.
So then early in the season starts, and you guys don't play a home game for it seems like eternity.
Yeah, we had like
So
5
what was
weeks.
that all about, right? 5 weeks on a
Yeah.
row. That's got to test your mental strength. So did Coach Maupin address that beforehand? Say, hey guys, we're not gonna see the friendly confines for a while. Did he talk about that? Take us inside the locker room there.
Yeah, he talked about that a lot. He talked because most of those 5 games too, they were all like 3-4 hour bus drives. So he always told us this is just gonna be the hardest part of our schedule because it's home or not. Like even though regardless of the records of the other teams, he told us like it was just gonna be tough no matter what, just because of the long bus rides and just being away from home. So he just told us to just keep pushing, and if we get through this, then we can get through any part of our schedule.
So tell me more about the beginning of the season. I mean, a team like you guys is the end goal always in mind? I mean, how does the beginning of the season start to come together? Who starts forming into leadership roles, things like that? Stuff like that always fascinates me.
So last year, as soon as the season was over, me and a little group of our teammates, we came up with the motto Redemption 119 because we wanted to get another chance at the state championship, and so that was always our goal from the beginning. And so, as far as leaders, we have a leadership group that meets every Thursday before school, and we just talk about what it is to be a leader and like how to be a great leader. So we had a team full of leaders instead of just a few people.
Tell us a little bit about playing for Coach Maupin. From the outside, it seems like he really has this stuff together. I'm a huge Coach Maupin fan, and just he's always accessible, and it seems like he builds the program the right way, brings that Artesia pedigree with him. Talk about that.
Well, he's a winner. He went to Artesia. I think he won 3 state championships there. He came here, took us to 2 state championships, and our school had only been to state championships 2 times before that. So he knows how to get kids to enjoy playing the game. Like all my teammates, they they love being able to play football. That's all they wanted. So it's just it's easy whenever we have a coach that's constantly supporting us. He doesn't like cursing at us. He doesn't like doing any of that like negative stuff. He's always trying to be positive.
Also, he doesn't believe in players playing both ways a lot, and he got that from Artesia. And he always told me, if there's more starting positions up for grabs, you're going to have more kids come out for football.
Yeah.
And so you've seen that now. Obviously, you're 4 years there. Talk about how the program's grown every year. The numbers you guys have are better than some 6A schools.
Yeah. Every year we have an extra like 20 kids. Like we're getting to the point where we don't have enough lockers for everybody. And
That's a good problem to have.
yeah.
Right?
And so it's nice because with the more kids coming, that means there's going to be more talent to go around, and that means that our programs is constantly been going, especially if we're succeeding. So the more we succeed, the more little kids that look up to our program and want to be part of the Los Angeles Tigers.
So you get to that first stretch, 5 weeks on the road, and what was your record at the end of that stretch?
I think we were 3-2.
Right. So you're that's a pretty respectable record there. Obviously not what you guys wanted, though.
Yeah.
So talk about what Coach Maupin kind of addressed then.
Well, we had ended up playing the 2 games we lost to. We played the 2nd seed in 6A, which was Clovis, and then we ended up having a bad game against Roswell. So he just said, like, we need to start pulling out the big games because the games that we had won, we had blown them out. So he said was talking about how having us pull out the big games and how we needed to just we had to make winning plays pretty much.
And did you feel any of that from the inside, from a player's perspective? Because I do remember him telling me that, maybe he was a little concerned with the mental makeup of the team at that point. They're not getting up for the big games. They got out-physicaled a little bit by Clovis in the second half. I mean, out-physicaled a lot, actually, by Clovis in the second half. And he was a little concerned with, hey, we got to step up and rise to these occasions, and they're not rising to these occasions. Did you feel that early on? I mean, how did he kind of pinpoint and address that?
I think our biggest problem for the first few weeks is, like, we had just gotten a new defensive coordinator, so we were still learning the new defenses. So, like, yes, we weren't playing to our full potential, but I think a little part of that was us still trying to learn because we had a lot of communication issues early on. So, like, I think, like, for most of those games, we were perfectly fine in the first half, and then we just kind of started dying down once the team started adjusting to us.
So when do you individually feel like you guys made the turn and kind of, mentally were at a place you needed to be?
I think when we played Goddard the first time, that was the first big game that we won, and after that, everyone was bought in. So it was like everyone just wanted to get better.
Even that was an interesting game. That was a game you saw right here on Proview Networks, Game of the Week. And first half, pretty close.
Yeah.
Tied, I believe, right, going to the half?
It was. No, I think they're up 6-7.
Right, or something. It was close. Adam and I did the game, and it was okay. Is the same thing happening again? Right, we're starting to wonder. And then second half. Well, what did Coach tell you at halftime? Let's start there because it was starting eerily similar to those other games.
Yeah, he pointed out the fact that we hadn't pulled up any of the big games yet, so he wanted us to make winning plays and be able to pull this one out because that was a big game for us and we really needed it, especially for state seedings.
Right, and then second half, obviously, you guys, I don't think they scored again, right? Blew them
No.
the rest of the way. We'll take another timeout. We'll finish up that season. We'll get into the playoffs and talk with Bryce Santana some more after this timeout.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? 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 Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that could happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
That is Bryce Santana, committed to New Mexico football, as you see on his shirt there. An exciting day, and we are honored and excited that you chose to share it with us. And we're kind of going through your senior year a little bit. So you get through that Goddard game, and then you guys really start to roll some teams.
Yeah.
So talk about that part of the season.
Well, we knew coming into the season that our district wasn't going to be very strong, so we knew we had to that we couldn't be peaking during our district games because once, like, we knew we were going to beat the team. So what coach had kept beating into our brains was that our practices had to be like our games, and we had to be pushing each other more at practice because we knew the games weren't going to be that tough. Like, I think all the district games I only played one quarter.
Right, and that was going to be my next point. Your district was a hot mess this year. Not even the Belen game was anything to really look forward to, like it usually is.
Yeah.
So how do you stay focused like that? Because that has tripped up some teams in the past where their district is just nothing to get you ready for the tournament.
Yeah, well, Coach Maupin had just kept bringing that up to us every single day, just telling us each practice got to be better and better because our district's not going to get us any better, so we got to make each other better. So we knew going in that they weren't very good, so we had to practice against each other as much as we could, just going as hard as we can.
Did you smile or cringe when you saw Artesia on the other side once that came to playoff time?
I was excited.
Right.
I was excited to go straight through Titletown.
So did you guys kind of think they'd be there at the end? Obviously, they had a tough season, and then with that district really being weird as well, they got just a horrendous seed because of it. Did you? But at the beginning of the year, you got to still assume that it's going to be them at some point in the end, right? So, So talk about preparation week for Artesia. Is it any different, or you just know that hey, you're facing someone special?
Well, we wanted to treat it like it was any other team. We didn't want to overhype them. We didn't want to give them more than what we thought they should be. So but we all also knew that it was like Coach Maupin's old team. So we wanted to show off for them.
How much did it help that was a home game?
It was nice. We didn't have to
not having to go there.
Yeah.
Those fans are a little, they love their Bulldogs, right?
A lot of them came down here still.
And then you get Goddard again in the second round, a team you're obviously very familiar with. Tell us about the week of preparation for that and the game plan for that.
Goddard, we knew what they were about. They're all about pounding the ball inside, and so they didn't throw the ball very much. So we knew that we had to just prepare for that, and we did pretty well against them.
Championship game obviously didn't end the way you guys would have liked, but you have the ball with a chance to drive for the win. That's really all you can ask for. Considering how poorly you guys played the first half, the fact that the game was right there for the taking in the second half, that had to be pretty positive. Talk about, what did Coach Maupin talk about at halftime of that game?
Well, at halftime we were actually up against Roswell, and so he just wanted us to step on their throats pretty much, but they ended up coming out pretty hot, and we didn't answer back till late in the fourth.
Right. Last drive, you guys have the ball. What's going through your mind? Do you think you're winning that? What's going through your mind on the field?
Well,
on the sideline.
I was confident in our offense, and they almost did it. We just had one play where our quarterback took a spike, in the shotgun, and I guess that's intentional grounding. So that kind of set us back a little bit. So after that, I just kind of sat down and prayed, hope that we would come out with the win.
Right. You guys come up short. What does Coach say? Obviously, you had to be incredibly proud of the season you guys had because you had an amazing season. But just take us into the locker room when you're on the wrong end of that game.
Well, that's exactly what he told us. He told us how proud he was of us and how we went through so much adversity and how we had just fought through everything that have happened. And he just told us that he's going to miss us seniors because we had a big senior class of 26. So he just told us he's going to miss us, and then he told us that he's just excited for next year and what's going to happen next year too.
When you have a group of 26 seniors, obviously that's a different experience for every one of them. I would say maybe 25 or 24 of those, it's extreme closure, right? Because football for them is over. For you, obviously, you knew there's going to be another game to be played, so maybe it's a little different experience. But I mean, talk about how you kind of processed the end of the season.
Well, it was still tough for me because like I've done like Las Lunas High School has been what I've known for the past 4 years, and it's like always been something I wanted to do since I was a little kid. So it was still tough because I wanted to come out with the first state championship the school's ever seen, but we came up just a little bit short. So that was my biggest, like, that's why I was upset, because I felt like I had given everything I had and I just wasn't enough.
Right. How quickly were you back to work on your individual skills? I mean, how much of a break do you take to mentally decompress? When are you working again?
Well, that next Monday I had to go straight to basketball practice.
Right.
So
I
had like about
Coach
1
Julian
day.
wasn't going to let you have a day off.
Yeah,
Right?
I had about 1 day.
Okay. So, but mentally, when did you kind of close on the season and move on?
It took me about 2 weeks. I had about after our banquet, we had it pretty quick. After our banquet, we had this photographer that came to every single one of our games, and she gave us each a flash drive of like individual pictures for us. So after I went through all those pictures, like relived all those memories, I was all right with it.
The Rhino Package.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. When did it come in? How awesome was that for you guys?
So it started last year. Our linebacker, he was the running back last year for it, and I was at tight end. And then this year, I talked to Coach Maupin about being it because I was excited for it. So he told
something
me
he watched, right, on TV or something, if I remember the story correctly?
he said that he saw some college
the Oklahoma
do it.
game, I think?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, so I was excited to do it, and it just worked out for us.
It worked out a lot for you guys. I mean, were you guys on the sideline pushing for that a lot? I mean, because it was
all the time.
It was almost unstoppable. So tell us about that.
Yeah, every time it was like anywhere in between like 3 yards, Rhino, like 4 of us in the background just yelling Rhino, just trying to get his attention. And
we would yell it in the broadcast booth too. Trust me, we'd be up there yelling Rhino.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this: how soon before maybe you whispered the word Rhino to Coach Gonzalez one of these days, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you never know, right?
And I'm gonna be in his ear a lot.
And you guys really were the only players that got to play both ways, right, on the Rhino Package. So
yeah, our whole D line came in. Tyler came in at the defensive end, and then Ben Harrison and Zach Doyle came in and led block for me. So.
Well, man, it was a fantastic career to follow at Las Lunas, and now we get to keep following it at UNM. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And best of luck, obviously. If you haven't yet, buy your season tickets, because there's going to be some kids that are on this team that you want to watch. And you brought a big group with you, so let's bring them all up here as we close out the show. I mean, tell us about some of the folks you brought here today.
So
you guys just fill in.
I got both my parents here. I got my grandparents. I got my auntie, her daughter. I have my two little sisters, and I have my girlfriend.
See, with Las Lunas, they go hard in Las Lunas. I knew you'd have a big crowd. You guys can keep filling in this way. So, I mean, already UNM's got to be happy, because that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 10 season tickets right there, right?
And then I've talked to a whole lot of people about my school, and they said they're going to start going to UNM games now too. So
there you go. I mean, did you tell Coach Gonzalez you got at least 10 season tickets sold?
Yeah, I told him there's going to be.
That's all good news right there.
Yep.
That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
That
you.
is your newest Lobo, Bryce Santana. Thank you for watching, and good night, everybody.